So we come back to the Samatha point, is that it's dependent on the Indriya Samvara. So, like I was talking about, which is the weakest and which is the strongest. So let's take few examples which help us to understand better and also give some clarity. Supposing I am onto a Goenkaji retreat. Okay. Now I have no idea of Indriya Samvara or anything. In fact, there's no need for knowing any one of these, like 10 immoral deeds or Indriya Samvara or whatever it is. There's no need. So now what happens here? Number one, there is isolation. So when I isolate, let's say, even at my house or over there, I isolate, I separate out. So basically, it's cutting the interaction with the senses. So when I go to the retreat, after, let's say, the first day, okay, basically I'm only listening to Goenkaji, nothing else. So for all the time, from morning till night, only thing which I'm hearing is to the Dhamma of what Goenkaji is saying. So I'm not basically distracted by any other things. So the food, what is given to me, is only Dhamma mentally. And physical food is whatever they're feeding. I can't ask anything more. Let's say I've done my 10-day course and I'm going for a second 10-day course. Then really what happens here is that after 11 a.m., there's no food at all. That means eating, which maximum people get involved with, is not there. So let's say that is my strongest of my senses, and now I'm worried about eating because that's my strongest. Let's say in my case, that's not my strongest. And the strongest has always been sight. And now there's nothing to see. So they have divided ladies one side, gents another side, and you can't see the ladies, and they stay in separate quarter and gents stay in separate quarters, and there's no way of interaction with any ladies for those 10 days. What happens is that the sight, I'm looking down and walking, or I'm sitting on the cushion and closing my eyes. So basically, the body sense door. See, now in that entire retreat, what I'm doing is I'm observing below my nostril for 3.5 days, and then the vipassana for the remaining days where I'm observing the body sensation. Now, the advantage of this is that the mind cannot go anywhere except for finding out what is happening within the body. So let's say from morning 4:30 till night 9:30, I'm only doing watching, and then when I go to bed, I'm watching the breath. The senses are cut. So there's no sight, no sound, no taste, no touch, no smell. And because of that, thoughts don't arise, meaning there's no cognition of mental objects. When I say thoughts, it's not a generic thought, what I'm talking about. It's a complete isolation because the five senses are not occupied. So the mind cannot get any inputs from these five senses. Now, what happens is that you are seeing, and in this case, I'm not seeing because my eyes are closed. There's no seer. There's nothing to be seen. Okay, like that, there's only hearing, but nothing to be heard. There's only smelling, there's nothing to be smelled. There is tasting, there's nothing to be tasted. There's touching, there's nothing to be touched. Then the mind withdraws where there's no need. And that is what Goenkaji, Ubakin's Lady Side, or the Burmese tradition calls it as a state of non being. There's nothing. The six sense doors are closed. So Ubakin Goenkaji says that that is when you have reached the Nibbana. This is true. It's 100% true. No doubt. Because the senses are not in contact with sense objects, so that means it's death. It's conditioned by senses. Now there is unconditionality. That means there's nothing, no association. When there is no association, that is Nibbana. So once you get that Nibbana, the first time you are a Sotapanna. And the second time it happens, you are a Sakadagami. The third time it happens, it's a Nanagami. And the fourth time it happens, you're an Arhat. So if I look at what Shaniel has said when we were, myself, Bobby, and Shaniel were talking out with others also being there, that's how he has experienced it, which is correct. Absolutely perfect. Why? Because the senses are withdrawn. And when the senses are withdrawn, at that moment, you will see all the factors or the charanadhambas working, and that will give rise to going into the arupa jhanas and completing the ninth one, neva sanya, na sanya, aitana, to the sanya vedita nirodha. And then if it happens again, where the I, whatever we call I, no longer exists, it dies completely, and then you're out of it. Okay. Now, if you see how did it happen and why did it happen, if you take that, it happened because of isolation. Number one. Number two, the first time it happens, you're a changed person. Okay. Now, what were the factors which made that happen is sila. So, in any person who gets the free flow, which in Hindi called dhara pravaha, then he gets into the bhanga jnana, which is going to look at particles. And beyond that comes the six senses closing. And when it closes, you know you have achieved Nibbana. Because at that moment, it's death. The senses have died. Because there is no input. So this is what we can find from Ledi Sayadaw to Ubakin to Goenkaji and all that. Okay. So now how do I do it in my daily life? That's when the question mark comes. Because that's an isolation. But I can't isolate while in this life because I'm seeing, I'm tasting, I'm touching, I'm smelling, I'm doing all of that. So constantly the consciousness is going outside, picking up the object and coming inside, and again it goes outside, comes inside, going outside, inside, going outside, inside, which is what is five nivarna or the obstacles is. Okay. So those of people who have done Goenkaji technique, one retreat or I don't know how many ever retreats, the ultimate thing is only this much, that you're isolating it and then you should get this jnana, wherein the six senses closes off. And then you're in Nibbana. That's all what it is. How you do it, there are various ways of doing it. But what Buddha recommends or says in the sutta is continuous. Bahulikata is continuous. So what I should do? Break the senses associated with the sense objects. That's all you need to do. Now, how? Practically, how it is possible. When I see an object, there is a cognition of that object. When I hear an object, there's a cognition of that object, which is created one. It's created. Like when I say, my wife said this, it's a wife which is a prominent thing in that object. When I say office, office is a prominent thing in that, and the remaining story is towards the office. Like the whole story is towards my wife, or towards my son, or towards my daughter, towards, let's say, I'm talking finance, and then I've invested, and then now it's a war between with Iran and US and Israel. So I can only, now that center is when the whirlpool has happened, right? That's a whirlpool. When I say wife, it's a whirlpool. When I say son, it's a whirlpool. That's the center from where everything is going to manifest. Now, what I do is I will not consider it to be real. It's created. The wife is created, made out of, due to marriage. So this is panya. Chitta and panya. In the chitta only panya will come, but then it has to be developed. Right? In the mind only they can create wisdom. Wisdom cannot be created outside the mind. But when I do Indriya Samvara, I can do it in two ways. Way one is what the traditions talk about. Way two is what Buddha talks about. And both can lead into the same thing in different ways. Meaning, if I sit on the cushion and watch my sensation of the body, the mind is hooked on to the body. It doesn't go outside now. Basically, what I'm watching is something like a rubbing sensation, can be throbbing sensation, can be itching sensation, can be whatever sensation appearing in the body. Objective is not to react to the sensation. It comes, it goes. The pain comes and pain goes. Very simple. If I could practice this, and I can practice what Buddha says about every object, not only the body sensation. Wife comes, wife goes. Son comes, son goes. Office comes, office goes. Money comes, money goes. No reaction. This is both the same. But can I do that? Yes, you can. But by not getting hooked on or addicted or stuck with upadana, which is holding on to what I've learned in the tradition, it's fine. You will get six sense doors closing. Absolutely fair. But then you have to come on the panya. Wisdom. Because through wisdom you can get liberation. Because the avidya will still there in sotapanna, sakadagami, anagami. It's like a sekha. Even Buddha says in the Mahatanha Sankhya Sutta, you should not be holding on to Buddha Dhamma itself, because that still is an attachment. And that is the cause of suffering. Because now I'm stuck with that. No. What is wisdom then? The wisdom is the six senses are not yours. That's the wisdom. So the ayatanas are not mine. There's no me in ayatana. It's just ayatana. Now to do that, I can use both the approaches. Irrespective of the approaches, irrespective whether I understand what the tradition says or I just go to retreat and don't have to learn or know anything about it, for some people, because the conditions are right, they can get into the dissolution, bhanga, followed by closing of sense doors, because the condition is matching. So, what condition is matching? They have gone so deep into the body contemplation that it not only splits completely as bhanga, since there are no input provided, the mind itself shuts down. Okay. Now, can this be done while you are interacting with the world in this method? Meaning, if I were to be on Samathā, which is closing the sense doors, then I'm in jhana, then I'm in vipassana, okay, then I'm in shunyagara. Can I do this? That's what Buddha Dhamma is. Can I practically do this in every given situation? Can I? Is it possible? Or should I go and sit in some place? And the answer is that you should do it anytime, anywhere, any condition, any situation, as indicated to Bahya by the Buddha. So I will tell you what happens when the six sense doors are closed. Okay, then you know what it means to be. Now, I will also tell you what is wisdom, how the wisdom comes in every level, and how the ultimate wisdom comes when there is no avijja. Okay? So the Bahya Sutta says, Tasmat te bahya evam sikkitabam. Therefore, bahya, tasmatita, tasma, this, you be. Therefore, bahya, evam sikkitabam, you learn like this. What? Dite dite mattam bhavisati. There is no siya. Mattam, only. In seeing, there is only seeing. That means chakuncha paticha rupecha uppajati chakku vinyanam will not happen. So tinna sangati phasso is not there. Phassa pache vedana is not there, and that's it. End of the journey. Okay. Can you do that? Yes, it's possible. Should you close your eyes? What does that mean? It's a sign. Closing eyes is a sign. Opening eyes is a sign. It's signless. So the nimitta graha is that I have taken a sign and I consider it to be real. No, it's conventional. What do you mean by closing eyes? There's nothing called as closing eyes. There's nothing called as opening eyes. It's just to say, please close your eyes, and then people will close. And if you say open eyes, people will open eyes. Just a command. That's it. It's a process. It's not a person. So when I know for sure it's just a process as against a person, nibbida will start. Disillusionment. There's no illusion that there's someone sitting and closing the eyes or opening the eyes. There's nothing like that. It's just a process. You create a condition and the eyes will close. If you remove that condition, eyes will open. So then, dhite dhite mattam bhavisati. That means in seeing, there's only seeing. There's no seer. There's nothing to be seen along with the seer. I am seeing this. No. There's nothing as I seeing it. This is exactly what I've done on a cushion. That when I had my lunch at 11 a.m. and the morning session started, I'm only hearing to Goenkaji's words. And that's the only input I'm getting. There's no other inputs. There's nothing else which is happening in that hall. And then I can see that the only symbolization I can make out right now is Goenka. All other symbols have been removed. At that moment, if for whatever reason the condition matches where I can let go of Goenka at that moment, then there's nothing, no cognition as Goenka ever coming in my mind. And hence the sixth senses closes. Because there's no thing which is happening which is equivalent to what Bahya has been told by Buddha. In seeing, there is only seeing. In hearing, there is only hearing. In tasting, there is only tasting. In touching, there's only touching. In smelling, there's only smelling. In cognition. Cognition means to know what it is. There is only knowing, not the thing to be known. There's only knowing. Means wife is walking here. The wife is a symbol which is not captured by the mind. In seeing, no wife is seen. So the sound also is not wife. It's just vibration. In fact, the sight is also a vibration. There's nothing there other than vibration. It vibrates on the pupil. And then the color, the sight is based upon the light. If there is light, you can see. If there's no light, you can't see. As simple as that. So you require aloka for the chakku to work. If there is no aloka, there is no chakku. Wow, got it. So the person whom I'm seeing is dependent on the light. If there were pitch darkness, I can't see anything. What can I see? Can I recognize my wife in that pitch darkness? Nothing. So now I understand the seeing of the wife is conditioned. It's 100% dependent on the condition of light coming and striking the chakku, and from that, the chakku is the mental chakku, what we're talking, not the physical akhi. So please be careful on what you are understanding, that there's not physical eye, we're talking about the mental, that means the conscious experience of a seeing as wife doesn't exist. If that doesn't exist, there is no passa, tinna sangati passo. The wife was not contacted. If the wife is not contacted, there is no feeling. Give you another example of my retreat with Goenkaji technique. As soon as I kept my car in that compound, removed the board. So where are you? No sign. If somebody asks me, Vilas, are you in Vipassana Research Institute? I would say yes. But mentally, am I in VRI? I would say no. I have no idea what is VRI. Because a sign, it will give me description now. Now I have to describe what is VRI, and it goes in circles, and then I say this is blah blah is created, this is what happened, this is how Goenkaji came from Burma to India, and all of that story. And that creates papancha sanyasankha. I don't want that. I don't want any world to be created out of these six senses. So as soon as I kept the car, there is no VRI nor the car. As soon as I went for the registration, there is no registration. There's no registration desk. There is nothing like that. There are no people sitting there registering. And when I met the assistant teacher, there's no assistant teacher per se. It's just elements. What is assistant teacher? There's nothing there. It's designated as assistant teacher, fair, but there's nothing to describe. And then when they call it a Dhamma hall, there is nothing called it a Dhamma hall. You can name whatever you want, but you're not entering Dhamma hall. Okay. This is what Moggallana did when he went to Vaijayanti Palace, taken by Indra. There's a sutta on that. And he never entered the Vaijayanti Palace because it's symbol. You can name whatever you want. You can be Vaijayanti Palace today and tomorrow it can be some other palace. It doesn't matter. If you don't enter, then there's no exit. That means dhite dhite mattam bhavisati, sute sute mattam bhavisati, mute mutam bhavisati, vinyate vinyate mattam bhavisati. So he says, even he te bahya sikitabha, that you do like this. Then what happens? Tatotvam bahya nattena. This is an important thing. If I know the six senses are closed, this will work. Tatotvam bahya. Then bahya. Nattena. You are not by that. Meaning, wife is not real. You're not by that. You have got nothing to do with wife. There's no you to call it as a wife. What do you mean? Vilas, you got married and hence you have a wife. If you are unmarried, will you have a wife? It's condition. What are you talking? So you're not that. Nattena. Yatotvam bahya natena tatotvam bahya natatta. So, if you are not by that, then you are not in this. This and that are gone. Meaning, if I didn't have a wife from the beginning, will you have a wife now? So when I see, I don't see wife. When I hear, I don't hear wife. When I smell, there's no wife. If I am tasting, there's no wife. If I am touching, there's no wife. And the cognition has no wife. If that wife is not there, can there be a son with this relationship? No. So yato tvam bahya na tatta tato tvam bahya ne vidha na huram na ubhayamantarena. That means when you don't have tatta, that means this and that both are gone, then you can't be said like ne vidha, neither here. Vidha means here. Ne vidha, neither here. Na huram, nor beyond. Ubhayamantarena, anything in between. Esevanto dukkhas. This is truly the end of suffering. Because I was suffering with wife. All that I was suffering was wife. So now I don't have a wife. All that I was suffering was a friend. I don't have a friend. In that token, I don't have an enemy either. In that token, I don't have a son. I don't have a daughter. I don't have a house. I don't have money. I don't have position. I don't have this, that. But you are having everything. Yes, from a conventional standpoint of the sanya, what you can create, yes. And there's a sanya sutta for that. which I will show you right now, and then we'll go through that, which Ananda gets confused with what Sariputta and Buddha are saying, but I will explain to you exactly how this would seem when the six senses are completely closed. So let me open it for you and we will go through that, and that will help you to understand what I'm trying to tell you. Give me a moment, I'll bring it up. There it is. Let me share. It's in Anguttara Nikaya 11.7. Okay, you might not understand it, so please don't try to read it unless you're an above an anagami. But let me explain to you, and you should know you're an above an anagami to understand this sutta. Otherwise, you will be struggling like what Ananda is struggling with this. He asked this question, so let's go through this question. He says, Siya nuko bante bikuno tatra rupo Samādhi patilabo yatha neva pataviyam patavi sanni assa na apasmim apo sanni assa tejasmim tejo sanni assa na vayasmim vayo sanni assa na akasanchayatane sanni assa na vinyananchayatane sanni assa na अकिंचायतने सन्नि अस् न नेव सन्य न सन्य आयतने नेव सन्य न सन्य आयतन सन्नि अस् न इधलोक सन्नि अस् न परलोक सन्नि अस् यम्पिदं धिटं सुतं मुतं विन्यातं पत्तं परियेसितं अनुविचारितं मनसा तत्रापि न सन्नि अस् सन्नि च पन अस् इति. That means he's asking, can there be a person? Can there be any samadhi like this? Where there is no earth experienced, but yet earth is experienced. There is no water being experienced, but yet there is water getting experienced. There is no fire getting experienced, but there is a fire getting experienced. There's air getting experienced. And also on the arupas is infinite space, but infinite space is not experienced. And then there is infinite consciousness, and there's no experience of infinite consciousness. And then there is nothingness, and there is nothing being experience of nothingness. Neither perception nor non-perception. And also, Samādhi has idhaloka and paraloka. He says he also not experienced. And they wouldn't perceive either seen or heard or cognized or attained or sought or explored by the mind, and yet they will perceive. This is the state of an arhat. Through stopping the sense doors while in bhavita bahulikata, not on a cushion. I sit on the cushion, I get into six senses closure, I come out, and then I feel totally different. That's correct. But this is completion, where you are all the time, not one time, not this time, not that time, all the time. So, and he would say, yes, it could be Ananda. Then he asked, how? This is a beautiful thing I want to share, which I love it, which I recite it every day nowadays for the Hindi group, is this. Etam santam etam panitam yadidam sabba sankhara samato sabbu padipati nisaggo tanhakhayo virago nirodho nibbana. This is the definition of nibbana. The whole question what Ananda has asked is replied by the Buddha like this. And that's how a mendicant might gain a state of immersion like this. They won't perceive earth in earth, water in water, fire in fire like that. and yet they perceive. It's strange, but it's true. So, etam santam, etam panitam is nibbana. Now, let's understand what happens in your waking state of consciousness through this samatha, taking into jhana, jhana into vipassana, vipassana into shunyata or shunyagara. In MN6, Akankeya Sutta, right? So let's understand through wisdom path, not through Cheto Vimukti path, through Panya Vimukti path, how this look, how does it sound? It's like this. Now, when I know there's no wife, not know as an intellectual, there's no intellect, truly know that wife is created and anything that is created gets destroyed, removed. I will not associate with it, creates nibbidha experience, disillusionment. That takes into viraga, dispassion. That becomes nirodha, cessation. So the wife ceases to exist. Not today, not tomorrow, not after she dies, all the time. And because of that, upasamo, upasama, upasamo means completely peaceful. Because after nirodha, cessation comes peace. Okay. So when the peace comes, I can see the difference between the vilas of previous who had a wife and vilas who don't have vilas and also the wife. If vilas is there, there's wife. If the vilas is not there, where's the wife? Not there. And that brings in the Four Noble Truths. The cause of suffering is this attaching to something which doesn't even exist. And the relief from suffering is to seeing the things as they truly are. Sambodhaya brings in Nibbana. Now, what is Nibbana is that a state of existence where nothing exists in its true sense, because they are created, because conditioned. This I understand from wisdom. Now, in the case of Ananda, he couldn't understand this because he was a Sotapanna, not able to penetrate into wisdom. He could do it through Cheto Vimukti, maybe, but not through Panya Vimukti route. So, what I'm explaining to you is from a Panya Vimukti route. If you are a person who is having Cheto Vimukti kind of situation, then the Goenkaji technique is a beautiful technique because you need to struggle, you need to heat yourself up to get to the closure of sense doors. Because what Buddha is explaining in that sutta, which we are taken up, MN 53, the second step is na nimitta grahi hoti, nana byanjana grahi hoti. What it really means, don't symbolize. It's panya, wisdom. You're not symbolizing out of wisdom. Even though vilas exist, there's no symbolization of vilas. You understand? Otherwise, I need to do what Goenkaji says, or Ubakin says, or Lady Sayadaw say, or whatever says. I need to do exactly like that because I don't have that faculty with me. I can't break the six senses. What should I do there? Please go to the retreats. Because I don't have that wisdom faculty working. I can't do anything because I'm not able to make out which is strong and which is weak. Is my eyes strong on an object or they are not strong? If my ears are strong on hearing or not? If my tongue is strong on tasting or not? If the body is strong on touch or not? If the nose is strong on smell or not? These five have to be broken before the mind gives up the five senses. Otherwise, it's a losing battle. It's 100% losing battle. So when people come here in the next month, people are coming for retreat here. We need to see whether they are a Panya type people or a Chitta type people. If they are Chitta type people, unfortunately, we have to pull the cushions and sit. Otherwise, they can't really see anything. Why? Because the faculties are not developed or what can be done. However, if the person has panya, nothing needs to be done. He already has wisdom. He can see through it. He can see through life. He can see through walls, just like, seeing through walls. You can see through it. And it's not real. It's completely fabricated. It's fine. It's worldly sense. You need to call somebody as your wife and somebody a sister, somebody a brother, somebody something. It's fine, but they're not really there. They are not true. In the same way, money is not true. It is there. It can be used, should be used. It's not nobody saying you shouldn't use it. You please use it. But they're not yours. And in that token, they're nobody's. Just like I'm saying, I am breathing. The breath is not mine, to be honest. Why? When I breathe, I take oxygen, which was not mine to begin with. That was in the trees. And the trees gave, or the atmosphere gave oxygen. And that oxygen is taken over by the blood through the cells. In fact, I am not respirating. It is the cellular respiration. It's not my respiration to call I am breathing. It's cellular. And in the cells has mitochondria, which actually requires oxygen. And they die every 120 days. He didn't ask my permission, saying that, Vilas, can I die? Please, if you allow me, I will die. Otherwise, I will not. I don't even know which red blood cell is dying. And they don't belong to me. Why that? You look at platelets. Are they your platelets? You have to get platelets from outside. If you don't have it, and then you have to get it imported. It's not your platelets or my platelets. So same thing with blood. Same thing with semen. There is semen bank. Why? It's not yours. That's the reason it is a bank. You can go and withdraw from there. Somebody pays money and takes the semen and then offloads it to a uterus. And the eggs will have fertilization. Or you can do it outside, called a blastocyst, which happens inside. You do it outside, and that is called, you can name it as IVF. But that doesn't change anything. Just because it's called IVF, the cells are not going to say, hey, hang on, tell me what is IVF, and then I will divide. They will divide irrespective whether you call it IVF, VBF, PBF, or IF, or MF, or whatever. That doesn't make any sense to the cells. they are going to break down into 2 and 4 and 8 and 16, 32, 64, blah, blah, blah. And then it makes into a complete blastocyst. And then you insert into the uterus. And then the body takes over from there. It's not your thing or anybody's thing. That's wisdom. Now, but don't have that. I can't get Indriya Sambara. Without Indriya Sambara, there is no Bhojane Matyanutta. Without Bhojane Matyanutta, that is moderation in eating, there is no Jagariyana Yoga. In fact, Bobby sent me one sutta called Jagariya Sutta, which is Jagarana Sutta, which was a very nice one that he sent it to me, but I'll just give you an thing. He says, Buddha says, please wake up. That means all along I'm on a slumber. Now I know that there is no person. That is Jagariya. For that, Sampajanya has to happen, which we are going to come tomorrow on Sampajanya, but at present we are only still on Sati. So I need to have awareness that the person I'm seeing for conventional reason is a wife or some relationship. In real, there's no wife or husband or son or daughter or this. That's the reason he says this world and other world. But in the Samādhi, he says you should agree that there is this world and other world. And here he comes and says there is no this world and that world. He should be consistent. If he says it is, he should say it is. And now he is saying it is not. So I'm confused. That's just like Ananda is confused. He says that, oh, it is. You mean to say like that also is possible? And he says yes. Now in the same sutta, fun part is he will now go to Sariputta. In the same sutta, what I'm showing. And he'll ask the same question and he gets the same answer. And here is what he says after listening to Sariputta. He says, Yatra hi nama sattu cheva savakassa chathena atho vyanjanena vyanjanam samsaditsati samesati na vighahisati yadidam agga padasmim idhanam avuso bhagavantam upasankamitva etamantam apucham bhagavapi me etehi Akharehi, ettehi, padehi, ettehi, benjanehi, ettamattam, vyakarisi seyatapi, ayasma, sariputta, acharyam avuso, abhutam avuso. That means he didn't understand anything. What all he said is that when I went and asked the Buddha, he used this Vyanjana, means grammar. He explained, he did everything. And when I came to you, you also did the same thing. It's so amazing. It's so nice that just like the teacher, so is you. You both have said the same thing. And he leaves there. Meaning he didn't understand a single word of what Buddha and Sariputta said. Because he couldn't understand how this is possible. Because generally, if there is no wife, you will say, I don't have a wife. But you can't say, I don't have a wife and yet I have a wife. It's just like saying I'm able to see, but I'm not seeing anything. Either you are able to see or you are not able to see. You have to take either one of them. But in Buddha Dhamma, it is neither this nor that or anything in between. That is when the dukkha is not there. Meaning, if somebody asks, Vilas, do you have a house? I won't challenge and say that I don't have. But if they ask me, really, do you have? I say, I don't have a house. They go mad. Because just now you said you have a house. And now when I ask you, you say you don't have a house. At least tell me what is really you are saying. I would have to use what Buddha says. Etam santam, etam panitam, yadidam sabba sankhara samato. Sabbupadi patini saggo, tanhakkayo virago nirodo nibbaan, which that person will never understand what I'm saying, and he will say he's gone mad and he will leave. Reason being that I don't have, but that doesn't mean that I can't recognize it. I can. Let us say this Dr. Veena N had met me some months ago and she's coming to retreat. I can't look at her like this and say, I don't know who you are. I know she's Veena, so I will say, Veena, how are you? All good. But there's no Veena inside. I have no idea who is Veena because Vilas itself is not there. So where the Veena will come now? But if somebody asks me, Vilas, are you not Vilas? I say, I am. What do you mean you are? You just said you are not. Yes, I'm not this, nor that, or anything in between. And that's the end of suffering. So to end the suffering, you need to have all 15 Charana Dhammas, irrespective of the fact whether you follow through a tradition way, like the Burmese or the Thai or Sri Lankan or whatever it is, or the wisdom way which can come through sutta. Just wanted to give you that clarity. Some people think they shouldn't go to suttas. Some people say that they should only go through suttas. It is neither, nothing in between also. If I am attached to non-sutta way, is suffering. If I attach to sutta way, is also suffering. If I keep both of them, is also suffering. There's nothing like that. So if I hold on to a sutta and say, look how much I know it, you are out of nibbana. Because it's not your sutta to begin with. So you give up. Just give up. Give up this badness to possess. It's not yours. Just like the oxygen is not mine, so also this body is not mine. But I can't say this is not my body. Till this is there, it's my body. Just like the house is there, it can be considered as my house because I'm residing in this house. That's true. As long as I'm in Bangalore, I can say I am living in Bangalore. That's a sunny or sanya. But I can't really say it is my Bangalore in which I'm staying in my house with my wife and my son with my money. It is, in fact, it's just Bangalore, leading a life with another human being who has taken on the role of a wife, staying with another human being who has taken a role of a son. You're staying in a house which is not rented. It has been transferred in your name or in that Vilas Kadiwal name. It's not yours. It's transferred in that name. And you can be the owner till that phase is there in this world. So the money belongs to the account, not of mine. There is a relationship between the bank and the person through an identification card, not real person. Just like nobody can buy a land in real sense, you can have a paper transferred in your name, but you can't keep a land. Come on, how can you keep a land? It's not your land. You have to give up and go. One day, when death takes over, the land is also gone, the money is gone, everything is gone because it was from the beginning was not yours or mine. So at the most, I can say I'm a caretaker of this. At the most. The best way to say is I have nothing to do with it because I don't exist to take care. But for conventional purpose, if somebody asks to say it's mine, absolutely mine, but no me associated with it. And that's panya. Otherwise, unfortunately, when people come here in May, June, July, and when I go to United States in September, we might have to pull the cushion and sit. That is also true. This is panya, that is chitta. Unless the chitta is purified, panya can never happen. But when panya happens, there's nothing called chitta because it's taken over by wisdom. So out of the three lights, or fire, Buddha says there is Aggi, fire, Chandama, Chanda, Chand, the moon, and sun, and Panya. Out of these four lights, or rather fire, which is the brightest, and the Panya is the brightest. Aggi Paba, Chanda Paba, Sura Paba, Panya Paba. Prabha means light, effulgence. So which is the best? It's Panya. Because now you've seen everything. But for those person who doesn't know, they will feel Aggi Paba is higher. Because they are only seeing small portion and then say, this is big. But when they really see the moonlight, this small lamp or this fire which is lit looks too small. And when they see the sunlight, it basically camouflages, removes the other three, which makes no sense. Other two, that is Aggi Paba, Chanda Paba. And when Panya shines on these three, that's the highest. Before we close, I and Sham had a story. Maybe I should narrate it if Sham allows me to do that. We went from Sotapanna to Arhat. Do you want me to do that here, Sham?
Yeah, please go. I think that's a really good story.
Okay, so I wanted to tell him because he's a Mallu, and I love Mallus on the other side of the equation. There is Bobby also, who is a Mallu, and Sanil is also a Mallu. So the three Mallus sitting here. So it is very good. So I came up with a nice story. It's a story, it's not really happened. And he was saying, he asked me twice, is it really happened? But it's not. So let's take a scenario like this. First case scenario is that I'm working for a company. Okay. And in fact, my ex-boss is also Mallu. So there are four of them now. She's also joined this call, so I can't leave her. So there are four people who are Mallus, and I'm working for a Mallu company. Okay. That means in Bangalore, you have many companies who are run by Malayali people who have a very high status, and they hire people from Kerala. Or in fact, majority of the management people will be from Kerala, and unfortunately, people who don't understand Malayalam stand no chance. So I joined that company, and then my boss, who is also a Mallu, and the CEO is also a Mallu, and then they do politics, and then they ensure that I'm not working in that organization, and I'm very frustrated as a Puttujara, right? And then I come in touch with Buddha's teaching, and then I want to join another company, but I have no idea how to join. And I start understanding Buddha Dhamma. It tells me that if I am immoral, I'll suffer. If I'm moral, I will not suffer. So I take it too seriously, and I start working for 3 months. I want to try it out, and there's basically non-hating, and because I hate Mallus, so I stop hating Mallus. Okay, first thing, because that's the thing which comes out to be this Mallus in Bangalore, of all the places. Okay, and in some places I can't even enter because if you don't know Malayalam, you can't even talk. So basically, they would act like they are in Kerala when they are not. So I had all of that. So I leave that vyapada, and I will leave expectation or comparison, which is abhijja, and I work on michaditti, and then I panatipata, adinadana, all of that, and then musavada I used to do, Pisunavacha, which is Mallu, and this one I wanted to eliminate Mallu. In the process, they eliminated me. So now didn't want to do that. Pisuna Vacha, slandering. Parusa Vacha, I was always abusing Malus, so which was there, and Sampa Palapa talking all about Kerala and Malayalam and all that, and then want to give them a. In fact, I told this Bobby in a different way. Anyway, so we, myself, Shaniel, and Bobby, we had fun while in Brisbane. Anyway, coming back to this is that now I stopped. Okay, I was getting interviews, but I was not focusing on the interview rather than I was focusing on the organization, whether the Mallu driven or a Telugu driven or a Tamil driven or a North Indian driven, etc., etc. So now I forget all of that. Doesn't matter. So I go for an interview. I got an interview, but again, it's a Mallu company. The moment I enter, I know it's Mallu. The smell of Mallu comes because I'm so used to Mallus. So come to see. But this time, I have ejected out. I have not taken. I just address what is being asked, not getting agitated, not getting anyway disturbed or whatever it is. So I've applied for a project manager position, and then they have asked me. So then I'm explaining, I'm doing what was supposed to be done, and I give some ideas. And then they say that, okay, we hire you, and I'm in the company. Okay. Then what I see here is totally different, drastically different. Is that I see everyone suffering. They're just suffering for food, shelter, clothing, medicine. There is no Mallu. There's no one there. It's just a mental created one. But actually, I see my boss struggling with these four things and his family and all that. So he might be doing immoral things, he might be doing moral things just for the sake of it. Then I say, oh, that's all what it is. So I get Saddha on Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. So I can now see the real suffering is that you're doing everything for these four: food, shelter, clothing, medicines. And when I start doing it, I see another thing is that when I say a person, unless there's an association, you can't experience a person. That means Mallu is a created thing. There's no thing called as a Mallu. If you teach consciousness Malayalam, it will speak in Malayalam. If you teach consciousness to speak in English, it will speak in English. If you teach consciousness to speak in Kannada, it will speak in Kannada. If you teach in Marathi, it speaks Marathi. If you teach Hindi, it so it's just consciousness, it's just cognition. Say, wow, there is no person. So I drop Mallu. So the roop of Mallu is gone, the feeling of Mallu is gone, the perception of Mallu is gone, the volition or the formations that this is Mallu itself is gone. So there is no conscious experience of Mallu at all. So I don't see Mallu company with Mallu people. Instead, I see people are struggling to find their food, shelter, clothing, medicine. So my reaction itself is gone, at which stage I am a Sotapanna. And I am not having any expectation. What they give as salary is fine because it's for food, shelter, clothing, medicine. It's fine. That's all what we are going to do anyway. So I withdraw this expectation that I need to be compensated very well or this or that. In fact, when I compare my previous salary, which I was getting in a previous organization, and this new organization, which is also Mallu driven, it is almost the same. It's not much of a difference, even though they said you're getting 20% hike, but I don't really see any 20% hike when I really look from the perspective of my salary slip. Don't find a difference. But I don't care now. Previously, I was caring. Actually, I wanted to be promoted. So one day it so happens that in my 3 months period of being in moral, this boss of mine has seen me not getting agitated, worked up, etc. And then he asked me this question. You look something different. And the project which was struggling, we succeeded. And I was talking to the client and made him understand what needs to be done, and everything is working, and the client is happy. They had held on to the payment, so they released the payment. So the company wanted to congratulate, and then they did that. So there was one meeting, and then they didn't say my name, but then they were saying, thanks everyone, blah blah blah. But after a few days, a email popped up from the desk of CEO congratulating me for so much of hard work I've done and all that. And then they said you're getting promoted, with a salary hike, etc. So my boss wanted me to join the CEO for drinks. And I had given up drinking because I'm just following the 5 precepts and trying to be moral. So I've left all of that. So I go there, I don't drink anything. And then in the thing, my CEO says that I'm drinking to forget pain. And then we start on the Dhamma. So I don't have possessions, so I'm a Sakadagami. And I don't have sensuality, I'm an Anagami. And now I don't see any difference between me and my CEO and the company, my boss, etc. There's nothing like that. And there is no me at all left to hang on to. I've reached Arhat. So when he asked me about, he had written a long email to me, and then I just wanted to do this with a real life example. In fact, we had 1.5 hours. I can't take an entire 1.5 hours on this Mallu business, but then just want to tell you that if you can see this in every part of your life, you can achieve complete liberation. Because if you don't exist, there's no pain. The pain started when I took myself to be a Kannada speaking person versus a Malayalam person. Because now there are two persons. Now one should be leading supremacy. So I want to lead, but I can't lead in a Malayalam organization because they are comfortable with that language. So they will hire people of that language. But I don't like that language. And now I feel these people are spoiling Bangalore. And that is animosity. That is vyapada. It's ill will. So that will not lead into anything good. It only makes things worse. So I understand there's no Malayali at all. There's just a being in samsara trying to find an exit path for coming out of dukkha, which is to get what they want. There's no sukha. So you're searching. So I see everyone is searching and searching and searching, but I feel happy that I'm not searching anything. The search is done. I'm still. The water is flowing. So mind still. So there's a book by Ajahn Chah, Still Flowing Water. Very beautiful book. So I had seen it in Bobby's home, and then when we went to that Dhammagiri, I brought 2 copies of that. So if somebody comes here, you can read it during your free time, and then it's a nice book. Still Flowing Water. That PDF is also there on internet. You can download it. It's free. So it's nothing. It's all about Ajahn Chah's journey, but it's very nice. Gives you and also an audio book is there. I think from Jaisaro, or I don't know who has narrated it, but it's a nice one. So if somebody wants to go through it, so Nibbana is nothing but still flowing water, and your arhat when you are in that stillness completely all the time. Yeah, sorry, Sham. I think the whole story I compressed it in as quickly as I could.
Yeah, I think it was like when you explained the story with the considered time, it was really super realistic. I was like doubting if it was real or if it was just made up, just too convincing.
Yeah.
But I think summarizes the whole Dhamma in one sense. Really good.
Thank you. So if we can see like that, that's it. So if I leave association of everything, it's done. The consciousness never comes back. If there is an association, it comes back. So don't have any association. Have an association just for the sake of association, and that's it. Okay, that's it. Any questions? Otherwise, we are good to end for today. And tomorrow, I'll talk about jhana for sure using this one. How do you know you're in first jhana? What shows you are in first jhana? If one rider to this, if you not have got Indriya Samvara, your breath watching will be monotonous. When it is monotonous, it doesn't work. So before we close, I'll give you an indication how you can see. If you are in first jhana, you are in whole day no thought state. Except for the breath watching, there's no other activity for the whole day. If you are in second jhana, then really there's avitakka vichara, which means there is nothing to ponder, nothing to think, whether you're watching the breath here, there, wherever, nothing like that. It stays for 3 days or more. If you are in third jhana, which is sukha, where what is sukha? I'll explain that also so that you can know what it is. Assuming you are on a desert and you forgot to bring your water bottle, and it is hard, sunny day in a desert, leading your life for 5 minutes itself looks like killing. And there comes a gentleman who will give you a pitcher of water, which you can sustain for a long journey. And that's sukha. That's an easy way to explain to you what is sukha. You're almost dying, and somebody gives you that water. When you put it in the mouth, that is relief from suffering. And that stays for a week. Meaning, you really don't have to do anything to get the sukha. Meaning, you just wake up, you're in sukha. You sleep, you're in sukha. Next day, again, you wake up, you're in sukha. So you're not doing anything to get sukha. And the last one, the most strangest of this experience is upekha, which means equanimity. Neither the mind is liking something or disliking something. There's no physical pain, nor there's physical pleasure. There's nothing like that. And if you stay really in that state, even if you get $1 million, or rather $100 million, or I don't know, somebody gives you the whole cities itself to you, you'll feel it shit. There's no interest. And if somebody abuses you, there's nothing there. That stays for 30 days. Meaning, when you wake up, you're in upekha. When you sleep down, you're in upekha. Again, you wake up, you're in upekha. The sleep, it means you don't have to do anything to keep that upekha alive. Okay. And just you want to say, I want to be in upekha, keeps you back in upekha. It brings you back to that state because mind knows how to get there. But again, it is conditioned. It keeps on dipping away. So jara will happen and marana will happen. That's a cycle. Okay, but 30 days. Then comes the first arupa jhana, wherein you're in infinite space. What's that experience to be? There's no body. You lose the sense of having a body. And that's it. How long? Nobody can say. Then comes to Vinyananchayatana, which means infinite consciousness. You'll only find cognition. There is no person to cognize, there's nothing to cognize, just a cognition, just knowing, just knowing, just knowing, just knowing. Everything is just knowing. Eyes are knowing, ears are knowing, tongue is knowing, body is knowing, everything is knowing, and everywhere it is the same. So you lose this experience of seeing an individual because it's divided. Now there's nothing division. And in no division, there's no birth and death because there's should be divided to die. But you can't experience it. Then comes akincha ayatana. This Brahman state is what is infinite consciousness. So we go above now. It's what is akincha ayatana. There is nothing inside the consciousness itself. Meaning, if you give it a subject object, it will recognize. If there were no subject object, it cannot recognize. That means there is kinchi means little, akincha means not even little. Then you come to neva sanya na sanya ayatana, which means neither perception nor non-perception is a state when you can't say you're perceiving something, you can't say you're not perceiving anything at all. Just like what we looked into Sanya Sutta. Okay, then comes Sanya Vedata Nirodha, where you can switch off. Like that, what I said about if you close all the senses, it closes. So this is Sanya Vedata Nirodha. Okay. Now, what's the difference between Sanya Vedata Nirodha and Nibbana? That also tell you, Nibbana is without Raga, Dvesha, Moha. Sanya Vedata Nirodha is suspension of consciousness. For that moment, there's no conscious experience. Can you create it? Yes. For that, you have to do all 9 jhanas, all 8 jhanas, and you should know you're in jhana, especially the 4th, because the 8 are dependent on 4. If you are in upeka, you can do the other 4 because it lands back to upeka. So in those 30 days, you can be going into arupa jhanas and leading your life there. If you were to die, you land there. Because the consciousnus is consistently making that as its home. So you go there. Now let's say I don't want to don't want to keep on circling, then you know that arupa jhanas are also conditioned, so you don't attach at all. So the moha goes away, which will remove the raga and dvesha, and that means you have perfected it. And that perfection is what is arhat. So we will do all of this in this thing. How much you will do it, it's up to you. But I'll certainly do it. I'll tell you from Cheto Vimukti side, which I had spoken with Bobby some time ago, and also talk about from the Panya Vimukti side, which I do it. So I can do it this way and that way. I can do both now. Okay. I can do the Cheto Vimukti side where I can get into each one of these. Just closing the sense doors is one way of doing it. Another way of knowing the reality itself through wisdom is another way of doing it. So that becomes Ubato Bhaga Vimukti, pure release from both the sides. Okay, so 2 sides. So from both sides, done. Journey over. If I take this also, journey is over. That way, journey is also over. So there's nothing more to do. So that's our step by step. In between comes the Rupa Jhanas. The last one is Upekha. If you're born there, you're born as an Anagami. Anything lower than that, you have to know that the 3 of them, Brahmakayika, Abhasara, Subhankina, they're Sukhavattis. So you go and reside there. Maximum time, you should right now reside there. Like I said about the water, during a desert season, desert travel, and then you forgot to bring in water and somebody gives you that water. That's exact experience you'll have. So every 7 day, just focus on that. You come back to that jhana. Then it takes for another 7 days. And then again, next 7 days, and next 7 days, and next 7 days. You don't have to go to Upekha. Can be in Sukhavati. And just by saying, I want to be in third, it goes there. Let's say I'm in a line waiting for, like now we don't have LPG cylinders in India. So let's say my wife sends me to bring in LPG cylinder and there's a huge line. Can I go to third jhana? Just say 3. Just like a shortcut, right? If alt and 3 is third jhana, alt and 1 is first jhana, alt and 2 is second jhana, like that. Alt is on your keyboard and press 3 and you're in that jhana. So the line is there and you're blissed out. It can be 5 hours, it can be 8 hours, it can be next day also. Fine. Because there's no people. So before I stand in the line, I just say alt 3. Done. Yes, Avanti, you require a lot of practice to switch, but that's possible. Everything in this world is possible. Yes, Sham.
So J4, I mean Jhana 4, is it possible for like at least Sotapanas or
No.
Sakadagamis? No,
Sakadagami onwards.
Sakadagami onwards. Arupas are also exclusive to Anagamis, I think.
Yes, Arupa Jhana is exclusive to Anagamis. So I will teach everything. Where you are, you should know it. See, for me, teaching it has no distinction whether you are a Sotapanna or Sakadagami, Anagami, like that. So it's up to you. You will come to know. If you are able to do it, then you know you are reached there.
So one more question. So Jhana, you didn't mention the days it lasts. Like you mentioned, second
7 days.
Second Jhana 3 days and
3 days.
Jhana 1
7 days.
7 days.
No, 1 day. First Jhana is 1 day.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Why it is 1 day? I mean, nobody asked me, how did you know this 7 days? And if you do it, you'll come to see it. But otherwise, I will tell you. It's very simple. You have to establish your breath for the whole day. It will take you to first jhana.
Oh.
Okay. And when you are in the breath, when your breath watching becomes continuous, you know how to watch the breath, right? So that automatically takes you to second jhana because you're not doing any vitakka vichara. You're not thinking that, the breath is there or not there. You're continuously in that. There's no sitting meditation. There's no standing meditation. There's no walking meditation. There's no lying down meditation. In fact, in all the 4 postures, you're able to see the breath. Irrespective of whatever you're doing. Okay, let's say I'm working, I'm studying, I'm cutting the vegetables and blah, blah. When I say breath watching means that you will either watch the breath or you are totally aware of what's happening when you're cutting or when you're reading, when you're standing, when you're walking, when you're lying down, whatever it is, the awareness remains, the sati remains. The attention is on the object, whatever you're doing. Let's say I'm cutting vegetables, attention is on the vegetable, but I'm aware of everything else which is happening. So it means the mind is not lost in somewhere. As soon as that work is done, the cutting of vegetable is done, the breath is normal. Okay. Again, I want to do some work, and then the work is being done, and then I'm aware of everything else happening with relation to the work. That means how I am standing, how the body is moving, how the heat is coming and hitting my skin, and how this t-shirt is behaving, etc., etc. I know everything what's happening around, plus my attention is on that thing what I'm working with. The moment that work is done, I don't have to say I want to watch the breath. It continues. In that way, my practice is for the whole day. And on the second day, I don't have to do this. It will automatically be so seamless. Piti arises, joy, because there's nothing I need to do. All this while I was putting struggle, now I don't have to put any effort, just comes. That's called piti, joy. And because of that, there's a lot of energies which start within the body, which can be called as kundalini or whatever name it can be given. But actually, you'll find something going around the spine. You'll get some goosebumps. You'll get sweat. You will get some fearful things. It can be very joyous. You'll get tears. You might get so many other odd things happening around, and everything is related to piti. There are 40 or 45 things which can come, or even more than that. So I think one class would be insufficient to explain to you each one of them, how your uh, hair should stand on one side and how sweat comes, even though outside is pretty cold and you feel start sweating. Otherwise, you feel chilled out, even though the outside is so hot. You'll find butterflies in the stomach, or you feel something is moving in your body so much, and then you feel something is happening on the spinal column. You feel something jittery, and you feel like you might fall down into so many things. So many good things happening, and something which are pretty scary things also can happen. It depends on the blocks in your, it's called nadis. So basically, if it is blocked, and then you will get tremendous pain, and if it is unblocked, it just flows everywhere. Okay,
So
just
floating sensation, is it also piti?
floating. Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yes, it does. Like if I take my own example, this side of my shoulder is blocked from 2018. It is not opened up, meaning I can do anything I want, but the pain continues because that is completely blocked, jammed. And I can't do anything of relieving it. It has to get relieved by itself. Medically, I have no problem, but it's jammed. So by, I think, November 2018 and this November 2026, it would be like how many years of suffering? I've ignored it. The pain comes and I do like this and the pain gets relieved. But actually, I don't have shoulder aches or anything at all, meaning you can lift anything. I can have any, I don't have any problem if the doctor does like this and like that. There's nothing, but it's blocked. That's what happens when the nadi gets blocked, and then you know that, oh, this is nothing to do with medical condition. It's because of the piti or whatever that is, and got stuck. And for these many years. Anyway, so it is 8 years of this shoulder thing, and I don't feel anything. And when you get sukha, that's what I just said, is you just don't have to do anything. Just wake up, you're in sukha. All that you know, you're in sukha. All the time, all the time, all the time. And then it keeps on dipping. So on the seventh day, you can see that's not there. Then you have to bring it up. Again, 7 days. And upekha is 30 days. The same way, like one day you did, and this is 30 days. So when you wake up, you're in upekha, you sleep, you're upekha, you wake up, upekha, 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 upekha. Now what to do? It's boring. Then I do arupa. Because the landing point is upekha, for jhana. So Buddha, the Samādhi, he talks about four, because what you need to be is in upekha, equanimity. So tomorrow we are going to do 4 jhanas, because that the fourth jhana is a primary thing for living all the time, is equanimity. This other 4 is, it's like having chocolate on a vanilla ice cream, or some other flavor, tutti frutti, or maybe some other flavors on that ice cream. But if you didn't have a vanilla, you can't put anything on top. So first, what we are doing is that upekha is a vanilla. Maybe you should ask a question rather than typing it out, I guess.
Yeah, so I just wanted to, I didn't want to
No,
the flow.
sukha, so piti, I told you. Piti is joy, and sukha is like I gave an example also. In fact, Buddha talks about joy and sukha, like he talks about the pond when you have all the four waters blocked and you're sitting there and forever. That is sukha. And piti is when the water is falling from top to bottom and then you get so drenched completely is piti, if you go by the sutta.
In the water example, sukha is felt at the body level and mentally.
Both in piti and sukha is physical and mental. Physically, you feel light, and mentally, you feel glad. There's gladness in second jhana. And in third jhana, the sukha is in the body. It becomes so easy that there's nothing you want to do. And also, there's a sukha in the mind, which is you feel happy. The mind, there's no expectation, there's nothing to seek for. That's sukha. I'll give you another way to experience this. Let's say you've been seeking something and you just got that. That's sukha. And there's no further seeking. In a sensual world, you get the sukha and you require something else now because that's gone. You understand? There's a sukha in the sensuality. So let's say I wanted a MacBook Pro and I go and buy MacBook Pro and I open the box and then I like switch on. That's gone. I went and married, got the wife, that's all. But there's sukha, limited. There is. Here, it's unlimited. That's the difference. So if you have understood this sukha, you can know what that sukha is. It's the same, but it lasts for a long. This sukha. Go ahead.
The way to keep sukha for a long time is only to go through first and second jhana. Is that right?
Yes, and if whatever we call as Arya Mauna is Tunni Bhava. Arya Mauna in what Goenkaji talks about is Tunni Bhava, and that Tunni Bhava means in second jhana. You should always be in piti, joy. Then you know that there is no seeker because you're in joy. And in joy, you don't like to seek anything because that cuts the joy. And in the third jhana, the seeker dies. There's nothing to seek any longer because you got what you wanted. So there's sukha.
So that means longer period of time, there is no seeker.
Now,
is it possible that seeker comes back?
Yes, he would. That would come back, and that's the reason there is samsara. Now it keeps on dipping, and on the seventh day, you feel rather strange. When you wake up, that sukha is gone. Let's say, Avanti, just for the sake of this example or argument, I will say today in the morning when I woke up, it's amazing. And from morning 4:30, now it is almost 10:04. It has not dipped a single bit. I feel, wow, so nice. And in the evening is the same. Night is the same. In the morning, it's again the same. Afternoon is the same. Evening is the same. Again, morning is the same. And evening is the same. And blah, 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 blah. Seventh day, also is same, but when I wake up on the eighth day, it is gone. And I don't know why. I'm saying you will know that you need to recreate it. okay, I need to leave. So basically, that's all what it is. So tomorrow we'll go into jhanas. Best thing, we'll do it together.
Okay. Thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
Good day, good night. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Namaste, sir.